The story began with a man betrayed by his brother. His name was Cyan Vert, loyal to the Vert clan. He lived his life in service, without desire or complaint. Cyan stayed by his brother Ashel's side like a shadow. But Ashel betrayed him despite his loyalty and sacrifice. Cyan was confused and questioned what he had done. He gave everything to the clan, to Ashel, to all. But people feared him for the ominous fog around him. They saw him as a monster, no longer a man. He helped Ashel win the Empire's brutal succession war. He fought against the Demon King's army with no hesitation. He aided Ashel in unifying the entire continent. For 20 years, he worked like a dog for Ashel, but in the end, his brother cast him aside. With nothing left, Cyan decided to end it all. He planned one final strike to finish his brother. He found Ashel's weak point and prepared to kill. But Boris intervened and ruined his final attack. Even with everything, Cyan couldn't leave a scratch. He died, but his story was far from over. Cyan woke up in his old room, confused and breathless. His maid Emily scolded him for oversleeping again. Cyan realized this was his room from 20 years ago. He had regressed to his younger self once more. Emily reminded him of his training for the duel. This duel was crucial, especially with Duke Vert watching. His opponent was Cyan Vert, Cyan's arrogant half-brother. Cyan, born from the Duke's legal wife, Margaret Erzeth. Cyan remembered how he became a joke after this duel. He remembered losing and becoming ignored by his father. Emily told him to surrender, but Cyan stood firm. He believed winning this duel might change his future. The Duke raised his hand, signaling the duel to begin. Cyan charged first, but his movements were laughably slow. Cyan dodged, deflected, and swiftly countered with precision. One kick was enough to knock Cyan to the ground. He pointed his sword at Cyan's throat to end it, but memories of past bullying filled Cyan with rage. He decided to crush Cyan to end it completely. The duel ended with Cyan lying in total defeat. Duke Vert then sent his top knight, Elkin, over. On his way, Cyan met Margaret, full of anger. She insulted Cyan's mother, enraging him even more. He stayed calm, vowing to make Cyan suffer later. Margaret raised her hand to slap him in rage. Elkin stopped her, stating the Duke had summoned Cyan. Duke's orders were absolute. Even Margaret had to obey. Cyan finally met his father, Duke Willius Vert, again. 15 years had passed since they last spoke. Duke Willius, the continent's guardian, stood proud and tall. But Cyan remembered him as a burdened, honorable man. The Duke questioned Cyan's sudden skill with the sword. Cyan lied, saying he secretly practiced every night. But the Duke doubted him, knowing Cyan's past disinterest. He asked if Cyan went too far with Cyan. Cyan understood it was a test of character. He confidently said he wanted to prove his worth. The Duke smiled, pleased with Cyan's new determination. He said Cyan could be a strong support for Ashel. Hearing Ashel's name, Cyan remembered his tragic betrayal. When asked for a reward, Cyan made his move. He asked permission to go to the battlefront immediately. The Lamia Valley, full of demons, was his target. The Duke opposed, setting a condition for his request. Cyan had 1 month to become worthy for war. Though weaker now, he still had his past instincts. He also sensed a bit of magic within himself. He knew with effort he could quickly grow stronger. But before training, someone interrupted. His sister, Alice. Alice was furious about Cyan's battlefront request. She demanded a duel atop the mansion's rooftop. If Cyan endured her attacks for 3 full minutes, only then would she allow him to go there. Alice attacked with full strength, but Cyan held on. His skills were all meant to kill, not defend. He struggled to restrain himself without full strength. While defending, he imbued his blade with mana. Then Alice accidentally used a deadly 6th star magic. Cyan braced himself and trusted Ulkin to intervene. Ulkin stopped the duel just in time. Alice cried, shaken by her own reckless power. She never meant to hurt Cyan so badly. Her obsession with protecting him clouded her judgment. Alice, a prodigy, was the pride of the kingdom. She was once known as the goddess's chosen child. She and Oshel were the continent's future guardians. But Cyan knew Alice would soon meet her end. This time, he'd protect her no matter the cost. Ulkin, meanwhile, silently followed the Duke's secret order. He was assigned to secretly protect young Master Cyan, though he couldn't speak of it to anyone. Cyan noticed Ulkin's silent presence since their last meeting. That night, after a long day, Cyan fell asleep. Next morning, Cyan continued his rigorous training session. Alice had returned to the academy for her duties. Cyan realized his physical strength had hit its limit. Just then, a special package from Alice arrived. It was Hellhound's blood, a rare and potent elixir. Its stench was awful, but its power was unmatched. Drinking it would permanently boost his strength and mana. Cyan had used it before in his previous life. He waited weeks for this moment, finally ready now. He knew Ulkin wouldn't be around today for surveillance. Soon, Ashel would receive a divine message from God. It would reveal an ancient temple hidden in the mountains. Right now, only Cyan knew of this sacred place. That temple once honored the god of light long ago. Its history vanished during the Great Demon-God War. Now, Cyan stood before its sealed, forgotten entrance. Inside, he found the legendary Sword of Divine Light. This blade had once helped humanity defeat the demons, but Cyan knew its true future, the cause of doom. This was the sword that killed him in the past. It would eventually be claimed by his traitorous brother. Cyan tried to awaken the blade, but nothing happened. He wasn't here to claim the Sword of Light. Where there's light, there must also be deep darkness. Cyan followed a hidden path to the temple's depths. There, he found the demonic sword Kiram, his true weapon. This cursed blade could transform into a human form. Only descendants of Eru could control her safely. Anyone else would lose their mind and body. But Cyan knew how to handle Kiram from experience. He told her about his past life and death, but Kiram couldn't understand what he truly meant. Still, Cyan held the truth and remained focused. After reclaiming his demonic sword, Cyan returned to the Holy Sword. He sliced off the Holy Sword's handle and kept it hidden. He knew this act would change everything to come. This was his first step toward true revenge and freedom. The day had come. Cyan must now face his trial. Today would decide if he's ready for the battlefront. No one really knew how strong Cyan truly was. Only Ulkin, the Duke's loyal knight, believed in his strength. At first, even Ulkin doubted, the weak young master. But now, Ulkin was sure Cyan had grown stronger. The knights summoned a hellhound from Lamea Valley. It was a low-ranked beast, but still deadly. Cyan defeated it without showing a single struggle. Everyone watching, the Duke was shocked. His father now confirmed his strength as a warrior. After the trial, the sword Kiram asked Cyan something. "Why didn't you use me during that fight?" Cyan simply smiled and answered with quiet confidence. He told Kiram to wait for the right time. He promised to let him feast to his heart's content. Soon, the scene moved to the distant battlefront. In the northwest, they prepared defenses against incoming ogres. The Duke ordered knights to restrain the enemy beasts. Once restrained, the knights quickly launched their assault. Cyan watched silently from the back with calm eyes. The Duke asked him about his first frontline experience. "You must never let your guard down here, Cyan." Cyan already knew how dangerous this place truly was. Situations like this were common in the front lines. After battle, Cyan pondered feeding Kiram more blood. His tent was far back and well guarded. That night, he decided to sneak out silently. As he was leaving, Emily woke and asked. He told her he was only going for exercise. Thanks to his assassin skills, he moved unnoticed. Guards were tight, but Cyan slipped through with ease. Later, he found a pack of wild hellhounds nearby. It was the perfect chance to unleash Karam's power. The more Karam drank blood, the stronger he became. Cyan trained this way the entire night without rest. The monsters here were plentiful and fierce every night. The next morning, his father asked how he was. "Learning something new every day," Cyan quietly replied. The Duke expected Cyan would want to go home, but Cyan endured and remained on the battlefield. The Duke was surprised and proud of his son. That night, Cyan continued his routine as usual. This time, he encountered a powerful beast, Deathworm. Such monsters should only appear deep within the valley. Even after feeding Karam, Cyan wasn't strong enough. He let Karam take over and unleashed full power. Karam ripped the beast's skin apart with ease, but Cyan forgot to clean up the scene afterward. He left the bodies, including the Deathworm's remains. Knights and the Duke later discovered the corpses nearby. They assumed it was caused by a secret organization. The Duke noticed something familiar in the sword marks. Karam's true form allowed Cyan to boost his strength, but it came with a dangerous side effect. If Cyan let his guard down, Karam could dominate his body. The next evening, the camp seemed unusually chaotic. Cyan ran into his maid, who looked concerned. She told him a high-level monster corpse was found. Ulkin soon arrived, saying the Duke summoned Cyan urgently. Cyan immediately suspected the corpse was his doing. When he entered, he greeted the Duke respectfully, but he knew his father had discovered the truth. The Duke asked where Cyan had been last night. Cyan lied, saying he slept early because of exhaustion. The Duke wasn't convinced, seeing the sword's familiar marks. Still, it was hard to believe a child killed that. The Duke explained what happened the night before. They found monster corpses covered in mysterious black fog. That fog was the mark of the group called Mist, a legendary assassin group believed to have vanished. They left behind black fog as their killing sign. Their Gadaru was the source of their darkness. Cyan knew it was truly his own doing, though. Karam's power left black fog wherever he struck down, but he stayed silent and kept his secret hidden. Then the Duke revealed why he summoned Cyan urgently. The Emperor himself would arrive at the battlefront today, and with him, the fifth princess, Arin, would come. The Duke asked Cyan to escort Princess Arin today. They were the same age and would attend the academy. Cyan understood his father's real intention instantly. The Duke likely wanted them to become close friends, like the Duke and Emperor once were in youth. But Cyan knew they would never become real friends. He already knew what fate awaited the tragic princess. Still, Cyan agreed to follow his father's request obediently. Princess Arin soon arrived at the camp, curious and observant. She then noticed a light coming from the west. A yellow light meant monsters were approaching that area. The Duke ordered knights to protect His Majesty immediately, but the Emperor refused protection and wanted to fight. The Duke ordered the knights to focus on slaying beasts. He also told Cyan to join the incoming battle. Upon hearing this, Princess Arin also wished to fight. Cyan warned her of the danger with a serious tone. This isn't a place for hesitation or childish tears. In the front lines, the Duke rallied his knights again. He commanded them to destroy all monsters without mercy. Let's take a moment to introduce Emperor Dion Severus. He had two wives, one deceased, the other powerful. The first empress, Diana, bore the first two princesses. The second, Cassandra, gave birth to two strong princes. But Princess Arin was born from a lowly mistress. Because of her mixed blood, she was mistreated cruelly. She was framed for treason and exiled from the palace. Rumors said she died alone on a distant island. People called her the tragic princess because of that. Back at the battle, the Emperor showed great skill. He was ranked 8 stars in magic, almost a legend. If not Emperor, he could have led the Mage Association. After the raid, the Duke and Emperor shared drinks. The Duke, however, never drank while at the battlefront. They talked about the Empire's current dangerous atmosphere. The Emperor spoke of nobles being mysteriously assassinated. All of them were corrupt and connected to shady acts. At every murder scene, black fog was present again. The Duke confirmed they also found fog at camp. The Emperor feared they might blame Aaron for it. Some nobles were spreading lies to frame the princess. So the Emperor asked the Duke one final favor. "If I die, promise you'll protect Aaron always." The Duke swore with honor to carry out his duty. Back at the tent, Cyan's maid teased him playfully. She joked that Cyan would stay single at this rate. Cyan just changed the subject and prepared to leave. He wanted to continue hunting more demonic beasts. As he stepped outside, Princess Aaron arrived unexpectedly. She asked if they could talk for a moment. The maid overheard and misunderstood the entire situation immediately. Cyan asked his maid to step outside respectfully. He wanted to speak to Aaron alone and seriously. Aaron apologized for her stubbornness during the earlier raid. Cyan said there was no need to apologize sincerely. He admitted he was also harsh with his words. The princess understood his reaction and respected his honesty. She asked if they could become proper friends now, but Cyan declined and responded with a colder tone. She said Cyan was the opposite of her brother. Her brother Ashel once told her something important. "Do not care what others say. Just fulfill duty." Aaron turned and left before Cyan could say anything. But Cyan stopped her, sensing danger nearby in silence. He knew Ashel was already plotting something dark again. Just as he warned her, an orc attacked their tent. The night air was tense as knights told the Emperor. They reported the ambush to both Emperor and the Duke. An advanced demonic beast struck the rear camp, they said. Princess Aaron and Cyan were caught in that sudden attack. The Emperor gave the order, "Secure the princess immediately." He also sent more knights to reinforce the rear camp. Back in the camp, Aaron and Cyan barely survived. Cyan wondered why orcs reached this far into camp. Normally, these orcs live deeper inside the cursed valley. Suddenly, another wave of orcs attacked from the shadows. But this time, they ignored others and focused on Cyan. He realized drinking demon blood might have changed him. The stronger he became, the more beasts were attracted. So Cyan chose to act as bait for everyone. With him distracting the orcs, the others escaped safely. The princess, knight, and maid Emily left with no harm. Now free, Cyan could unleash his full strength without holding. While Cyan fought, he sensed something strange nearby. Unusual. A devil dragon appeared, still young but full of power. Instead of running, Cyan grinned wide with excitement. If he killed it, he'd gain even greater strength. As he prepared to strike, others arrived before the Emperor. Princess Aaron, the maid, and a knight ran forward. They told him Cyan stayed back to help them flee. The princess begged her father to save Cyan's life, but the Duke blocked the order with firm words. He said saving Cyan would risk the entire empire. Demonic beasts would attack if they left the camp. Cyan had fulfilled his role. He had done enough. "That's what it means to be a Vert," he said. Meanwhile, Cyan launched his attack against the devil dragon. Dragons are rare, noble, powerful. Humans shouldn't face them. He knew basic strikes wouldn't work against such power, so Cyan focused all his skills toward its weak points. He went straight for the eyes, unrelenting with combos. The devil dragon tried to flee after Cyan's onslaught. Cyan chased and grabbed it before it could escape. He aimed to finish the fight with one last blow, but suddenly, the dragon soared into the sky, high. It flew directly toward the emperor and the duke. They looked up and saw Cyan holding the devil dragon. Princess Arin gasped, shocked to see Cyan like that. Cyan didn't expect this. He only wanted the blood. He panicked. If they saw his demonic sword, he's doomed. They'd burn him alive if they knew what he used. Before he could act, his father launched an attack. The Duke swung his secret sword toward the devil dragon. He knew Cyan might get caught in the deadly strike. The dragon dodged, but one swing still struck its wing. Cyan fell, spiraling down, but not thinking of safety. Instead, he mourned, losing the chance to slay it. As Cyan plummeted, unseen eyes watched from afar. The Demon King had been observing the entire battle. He noticed something familiar, but also deeply unsettling. The Demon King moved to the spot where Cyan landed. Cyan, bruised but alive, heard a voice he remembered. He'd never forget that cold, commanding voice, Vel's voice. In the past, Vel seemed like the embodiment of evil. But now, the figure before Cyan felt entirely different. Cyan wondered what had changed this king of demons. He asked Vel directly, "What do you want to achieve as a demon king?" The demon king smiled at Cyan's fearless, questioning tone. He answered, "I just want my people to live happily, to eat well and survive, but I'll kill if needed." Cyan's chest tightened. It felt like their past encounter. Something tragic must have changed the Demon King before, so Cyan wanted to prevent that future from happening. He offered a deal, one that could save both sides. Cyan warned that war between humans and demons is coming, but if Vel agrees to peace, Cyan will help. At first, Vel seemed confused by the strange humans' talk, but he sensed something powerful, something oddly familiar. Finally, Vel accepted and asked Cyan for his name. "Cyan Vert," he said firmly. "Remember that name." Vel flew above and declared from the sky with force. Cyan must keep his word because a deal is sacred. Cyan agreed, knowing the price if he fails again. After the deal, Cyan was found by the inspection team. He was carried back to camp, barely holding consciousness. They called him the boy who survived the devil dragon. He was hospitalized at the military base near the borders. During recovery, Princess Arin visited and made an offer. She wanted Cyan to become her trusted personal subordinate. But Cyan politely declined and offered something different instead. He would protect her from afar, in silent watchfulness. Cyan couldn't stop thinking about one troubling truth. He suspected his brother played a role in her downfall. Arin, smiling, told him she'll become someone unforgettable someday. She promised to grow powerful, so he'd never ignore her. After recovering, Cyan began investigating the illegal trade of demonic beasts. He discovered corpses and blood were being smuggled illegally. The culprit was Renlad Crimson, a 7-star mage knight. He worked with another kingdom to sell the corpses. Cyan caught him and found a dimensional storage box. That box had infinite storage, made by mage associations. Cyan used his mist skill, freezing Renlad in place. Though Renlad broke free later, Cyan easily disarmed him. He cut off his hands and ended his life. Then, Cyan gave one final warning to the smugglers. He placed Renlad's head inside the demonic corpse box. It was a message: stop this trade, or face death. The news of Cyan's return and his father spread. Even Cyan's older brother heard what had happened fast. If you like this video and want the next part, just comment below.